Hey guys, Captain here. This is my 10th take on this stupid video because I can't get my shit together. This is a Benchmade pouch, and what comes in this Benchmade pouch is, like every other Benchmade knife out there, is the knife. This one just happened to carry my Benchmade 710. I've had this for a few weeks now, and I've had some time to play around with it, put it through some paces. I didn't buy this knife to abuse. I bought this knife because I wanted a nice Benchmade that looked crisp and clean, that I could take to some nicer events and not be the same knife that I carry in the backyard and beat on every day. But know that it could withstand that abuse. So I think for my purposes, this is exactly what I wanted. So let's go through this a little bit. The 710 is nice. It's a big knife. I think the overall length of this thing when it's totally open is somewhere between 8 and 9 inches, which is massive. The only thing really comparable in size to it would be the Cold Steel Voyager, which I'll compare the side by side to in a minute. The blade is D2, and the blade is just under 4 inches. It's I think 3.9 inches, which is massive. Access locking mechanism, G10 scales. The texture on it may look a little bit aggressive because of the lighting. It's really a pretty smooth G10 scale. It's not super aggressive. The Cold Steel G10s are much more aggressive than this. This in and out of your pocket, no problem as far as tearing up your pockets. It's just not going to happen. You've got these little ridges in here. These are actually milled into it. They don't really do anything except offer a nice design and look, and they feel a little bit nice in your hand depending on how you're holding it. If you're cutting the tape off the box, it's great. Other than that, you're really not getting any huge benefit to it. You've got the reversible pocket clip, like every other Benchmade with these models. You've got your standard black Benchmade clip. It's tip-up carry only. You've got a lanyard hole, so for people that like putting lanyards on your knives, you're good to go. This is perfect. Big, hefty knife for that. I wouldn't need it for that because I only use lanyards for heavy-duty chopping tasks, outside hiking, camping, something like that. But as far as a pocket knife goes, that's not why I buy them. That's not what I use them for, so no reason for it for me. But everyone else, you can rejoice. You can put a lanyard on it. Fantastic. It's a satin finish on this blade. You can get it, I think, with the black Cerakote that they do, and I think they also offer this in a serration version as well. This is the fine edge throughout the whole thing, and they really do a nice job with the geometry on this blade. So you have that little bit of a. Let me zoom this in for you. You see, it's a really nice satin finish, really crisp, clean grind lines, nice little false edge at the top, beautiful coloring, really just what a gorgeous fit and finish on this knife. Really, really beautiful. Came very sharp out of the box. Not shaving sharp, but none of my Benchmates have come shaving sharp out of the box. But this was definitely a sharp enough to slice up quite a few pieces of paper with ease without tearing it through at all. Just nice little slices. What's nice about this that I like too, you get your steel liners, which add some heft and weight to it. For some people that are concerned with weight, that could be an issue. For me, that doesn't really bother me at all. With the weight, if I'm carrying this, I'm going to be carrying it in pants. I could definitely support it, and I'm not carrying 50 pounds a year. I'm carrying a knife in one pocket and a phone in the other pocket, and that's pretty much it. You have some nice jimping up on here, so you could choke up a little bit for some really fine tasks, although I don't like getting this close to the blade, just for obvious safety reasons. But the jimping extends all the way down, which is really, really nice, and it's on this back end here for your thumb. Super comfortable. Very ergonomic grip. So I always love it when they do this sort of swollen finger groove back here. It really fits in nicely with your hand, because when you hold things, you can see your hand has a lot more space back here. A lot of people that do the squared away knives there, it just doesn't fit the hand the right way. This fits really, really nice. As far as tuning it and the axis lock and anything like that, this axis lock is tuned right out of it. I mean, you're paying like $150 plus for this knife, and you get your money's worth with it. This is a really beautiful knife. The fit and finish is gorgeous. It's a solid knife in your hand. It's a big size. I mean, this thing's a big fucker. Beautiful blade finish, crisp lines, and as far as flicking this thing open and using the axis lock, right open, right close, no issue, out of the box, which is fantastic. My Reptilian, I had to tune when I first got to get it to be just where I wanted it. This thing, I didn't even have to touch it, which is great. Nice bronze washers on it, like all Benchmades. Really, really lovely piece. You know, I love this thing. You can still do that whole axis lock flip if you want. I usually just use my thumb. Actually, I think it was Nut and Fancy that had posted a video about training with pocket knives, and you want to use the same deployment method anytime that you're deploying a blade. Just muscle memory. You're not going to play with it. So if you're using flippers and you're pushing the flipper on the back, it's going to flip open. That's great, but this knife doesn't have a flipper. This has the axis lock. What are you going to do with the axis lock when you're deploying it? You're not going to do anything with it, because you're going to be, you see the other one that's missing. So every knife has a thumb stud, unless you're talking about automatics or knives that are definitely not for self-defense at all, like the old buck knives and lockbacks like that. So this, really nice, super smooth. I love this thing. This is, what a great knife. Like I said, they're about $150, I think, right now. The D2 steel is a little bit tough for beginners with pocket knives. If you're a beginner and you're getting into it, number one, this is a knife for you because it's way too freaking big. But, I mean, if you're just not good at sharpening knives in general, you know, maybe, and you want to sharpen your own pieces, you don't want to ship it out, then maybe look for something else with an easier edge to put on. Look for a blade made of like S35 or I'll say something at 440, something along those lines. Just a little bit easier to sharpen at home, a little bit easier to hone. The D2, if you know what you're doing, it's fine. If you don't know what you're doing, you know, send it in. Benchmade has their, I think it's called their Life Sharp system, where you mail them the knife, they sharpen it for you and mail it back to you. And they'll tune it up, they'll fix your pocket clips. Your pocket clips are screwed up, anything that's broken they'll replace. And you could, I think, even customize it a little bit further from there. So, really nice piece. Really nice addition to my my collection. And yeah, this is definitely a knife I'm going to be holding on to for a long time and start working it more and more into my everyday carry rotation. Awesome, awesome knife.